You. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, that's much better because JP just gave you the most inspirational presentation and message to you all. You should be pumped up. Like tomorrow, you're gonna do something. No? The reaction is not quite awake yet, right? Okay. So, before I start, let me introduce myself a little bit. You heard a little bit from the gentleman that introduced me. I am Natchawi. You can call me Nat, a program manager for Right to Play. In a little bit, I will share to you the organization that I'm currently working with. It is my third year now working with Right to Play. And with the organization, the focus is sport for development. Has anyone ever heard about sport for development before? Raise your hand. No. Yes. Don't be shy. Raise your hand. Okay. Good. In Asia, sport for development, it's a new thing for us. Because sometimes the value that we put in sport, it's still just for fun. But in terms of sport for development, sport can do beyond just a game that you play with your friend. You can learn more from using the sport. So for Right to Play, we are a global organization working in 20 countries around the world. And we have a national office that will do the fundraising for the 20 countries. Okay. Sorry. So for this session, what we are going to talk about is we will work together to understand the concept of situational leadership. With JP's session, he introduced the concept of how do you find that leadership within you. Next, we're going to talk about how you're going to deliver that concept of leadership within you with others, next to you, near you, to form a team. The second one, to understand and appreciate their own behavior, style that you currently have, and that of others among the diversity. And then the third one, we're gonna have some practical session of skill building in terms of how do you create this awareness of the behavior around other people. And adaptability is significant to help you lead others and work as a team. That sound okay for a short 45 minutes? Seem like a lot, right? But I'll try my best. Right, I mentioned earlier in terms of Right to Play. As you know, the name of the organization is part of the United Nations Convention for the Right of the Child. I'm not sure anyone familiar with that, UNCRC? Okay, this year is the 25th anniversary of UNCRC, so we will celebrate for that. So in terms of what we do, we believe that sport is a tool for education and health and to bring the community together in many occasions for children or youth that under the poverty, for a certain community and society that under the conflict. And just to reflect in your own experiences, I hope everyone have experiences that you get to play. Am I right? Okay. You need to speak to me too, loud and clear. So how do you learn to be part of a team when you're young? Can anyone help me with that? To share a little bit of that experience? Should I have some eye contact and volunteer? Okay, I think I like the table on my right-hand side. Anyone on this table want to share a little bit? How do you learn to be part of a team?
You communicate with other people.
Okay, so when you play, you communicate with others, right? And how do you learn how to play with your friends and share that, how you feel during the play that you do with your friend?
I learned how to play by observing other people and how it felt. It was really a very wonderful experience sharing yourselves with others and sharing that you can contribute to a common goal.
Thank you. So he said a very key word, observation. You observe others how they play. And then after that, you learn to play with them, correct? And then you communicate the feeling through the magic word play with the team. So can you imagine today, now, that what if play does not exist anymore in this world? What would it be like for your childhood without play? The world would be happy, very sad. Why is that? Because nobody play anymore. But when nobody play anymore, what are the impact that happen to us? I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? Okay, so it seems like our childhood is missing, right? So we all become so serious, and some part of our life is missing. Okay, so this is the methodology that we use in our organization, play and sport and the development. So we draw the sport and play together, working in the international development concept, and then leverage the power of play to educate and empower children who are facing that adversity. And we believe that self-confidence, self-esteem, respect of others and oneself, overcoming adversity are one of the many critical elements to develop a child that must be fostered in order to create safe, healthy, and productive society. So these are the countries that we work with in 20 countries. Okay. Let's see. You may wonder who's the gentleman on my right here, standing right there. Good-looking gentleman. Let him introduce himself, why he's here, and then I will explain more why he's here.
So, hi guys, did anybody of you remember my name? At all? Right here? It was Sam, thank you. I'm a training officer in Right to Play Thailand, working with Pinat. She's my boss, actually. And I'm here to help her out.
Okay, there's a story behind that too, Sam. Sam recently joined us last year. In terms of Right to Play, we believe in building capacity of the staff. And when we do the interview process, we see what that person believes and what we believe and how that's merged. The reason that he's here, this is his opportunity as well to practice his leadership. Leadership not necessarily come with the title. He doesn't have to be a program manager or a director or a big title to be here. But because he has a skill and he has the experiences to be here and share that with you. So thank you, Sam. What is leadership? Do you remember JP session? Commitment. What else? What is it? Passion, I'm sorry. Passion. Okay. So, what's your name? Sushanan, okay. She said that leadership is a big umbrella that composed of so many aspects and skill that you project to others in terms of who you are as a leader. So before we start to dig deep into the leadership, I have an activity for you. Everyone know how to count from 1 to 20? I guess you do. Okay. Simple mission for all of you. How many of us here as a participant? 33? 33. Perfect. All of you right now at this very moment need to help each other to count from 1 to 20. The condition is you cannot count the same number at the same time. Just one person count that number and by order. Do you understand? You cannot talk to each other. You cannot give a signal, like who will be doing what. But among 33 of us, you have 5 seconds to put yourself together and then start counting from 1 to 20. Everyone clear? Okay. That's how you're going to do it. 33 people, 20 number, how you going to do it? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oops. Cannot. So now you have to start over again. Go.
1, 2, 3.
Again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oops. 6 twice. Start over again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'll give you 2 more chances. Start now.
1.
Already. One last chance. Go.
1, 2.
You can only count one number. Okay, so back to that activity. What are the things that we have learned from the activity?
You have to communicate in order to do something.
Absolutely. You need to communicate to do something like this because all of you, 33 people here, have how many goals? 1 goal. But I didn't give you the opportunity to communicate, right? But then how are you going to use that existing of one another to accomplish that goal? What else that you have learned from the activity? I haven't heard from this side yet. You listen to each other first. Like who will be the first one that dare to say 1? And who's the next one that dare to say 2? Anything else that you have learned from this activity?
Each component is very vital to the group as a whole. You can only say one number. Everybody plays a part.
Thank you. You make a very good point. Everyone play a vital role to accomplish what the mission is for, to count from 1 to 20. And one of the things that you forget to mention, the activity that you just did is leadership. Did I assign who will be the leader? No, you discuss among yourself who will be the leader. May I get the person who count number 1? Can you raise your hand, please? Okay, let me go to this table. What make you count number 1?
I kind of feel that taking initiative first will kind of set the tone and everyone will understand it. So it's by taking initiative first and people observe right away and they understand it. And therefore it becomes, everyone understands and they know the role or what they have to do.
Thank you. Absolutely, you set the tone. To set the tone for others to follow, right? So once when you set the tone, others will start to count. And 2 and 3 and 4, and then we can only count to what, 6 as the most? Not bad. So may I introduce you to the definition of what we've been collected over time in terms of leadership. So leadership is the ability to influence others to achieve desired result. Did you do that, the one that count number 1? I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Yes, I think he did. He did inspire others. He did set the tone, for you to start. Remember what JP said, you have to start now. That's what he did. So that's the ability to influence others to achieve a desired goal and result. This is one thing that you need to understand. We manage things, but we lead people. And it depends on what your leadership style and how you're going to lead them. So I have another activity for you. Sam maybe can help me with this.
Okay, guys. As what I've mentioned, this activity is called this bingo. So did anybody like getting to know each other already? Do you guys know each other already before we come here? Sort of, kind of, but not everybody, right? Do you know what personality or what behavior they have? No. Great. So to be a great leader, to be a good leader, you have to not just look inside yourself of who you are, but also look at others. What is their behavior and what is your perspective towards that person? So I will hand you this sheet of paper. Have any of you have ever played bingo before? Bingo, right? You know the game, right? So basically I will give you this sheet of paper here. And you will have to go around this room and find a person who thinks that he or she has the behavior or personality that matches. For example, if you think this person is very energetic, for example, then you go to that person, you ask that person nicely, I think, for example, what is your name again? Sushanan, I think you are very energetic. Very. Are you energetic, Sushanan? Would you say you're energetic? Very energetic, that's great. So if she agrees on that, then she will write her name. She will sign her name in that piece of paper for you on the energetics sheets, blanks. But if I go to this gentleman right here, your name is Brett. Brett, you look very optimistic. Are you optimistic? You are? If you think you are, then you write your name. But if I go to another person and ask her, I think you're very friendly, and that person goes like, no. Then you have to go to another person. You don't write that person's name on that sheet of paper. You got it? Anybody have any questions? Any questions at all? Everybody know how to play this game? The first person who got the bingos got the name in the order, either in horizontal or vertical, or you can do a cross as well. Then you come to me, okay? Are you ready? I will give you only, yes? Name, just a name. Write down, that person who you ask have to write their names on that piece of paper, on your paper. So first write your name on top of the piece of paper, and then go around the room and find that person. Okay, are you ready? Any more questions? Oh yes, I forgot to mention. If you go around, you cannot go and ask Sushanan, other than energetic, you have to go something else. If you think Sushanan is energetic and she looks like a good listener, then you can't ask her that she is a good listener. Okay? So you can go and ask one person for one answers. Got it? Any questions? Okay, I will give you only 2 minutes. 2 minutes for this. Okay, go, start. Go around the room,
2 minutes.
You can go around the room. I see a lot of people walking right now.
You have to agree too. If the person asks you if you don't agree, you just say no, that's not me.
Exactly. If you don't agree, you're that person, then don't sign the paper. When you're done, please come and hand me the paper.
You cannot tell your friend, pick one. Which one do you want to be? No, you
Don't
need
do
to
that,
ask.
do that,
You need
please
to
don't.
perceive that person first.
Again, you have to go and tell that person that you think that person is dot dot dot.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up, time's up. Okay, guys.
Back to your seat,
You guys
please.
back to your seats, back to your seats, back to your seats. Back to your seat now.
Does anyone got bingo?
Yeah, I've seen one, I've seen
Oh,
one.
got one.
I've seen one
Two.
bingos. 2 bingos, right? Okay, let me ask you some questions. Was it difficult for this exercise? Was it difficult for you to go and find somebody and you think that person is? Was it? Yes, easy or yes, difficult? Yes, difficult, right? Anybody find it easy? Yes? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Again, yes, thanks, Shan, on that. It's more like analyzing. It's not like you're judging the person. But again, in a later session for this hours, you will see why we need to know, why we have to know their behaviors and their perspective towards us and towards the group in order to lead them effectively. That is why this exercise is trying to help you with. So most of you say it was difficult, right? Only 2 of you got bingos? Can I see a hand? 1 and 2. Okay, great. Let me ask you this question. How did you feel when somebody approached you and asked you, did anybody got energetic after other than Suchanan, of course? Did anybody else got energetic for that one? Yes? Like many people come and approach you about that? Or is it 2 or 3? What makes you think you are energetic?
I'm very vocal and I speak my mind and I'm yeah.
So you're not jumping around the room, everything, right? So do you feel good when people come and approach you that, yeah, they know I'm energetic? What do you feel?
Well, I do hope that they look at I do hope that when they think of energetic, I hope they see it as a good trait, of course. So
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. What's your name again?
Urjo.
Urjo. Okay, big round of applause for Urjo, please. Great. Again, why we're asking you this question is because for you, when somebody approach you, that they know what you are and how you feel, what is your behavior, it is something that it is a quality of the leader that is needed. So, who is right? The question is, who is right? Is it me? Or is it that person who come and approach me saying, I am energetic? Who is right, do you think? Both? Okay, can you explain more about that?
If we can match, because if we can match the perception of other people and us, I think it's closer to the truth, I think.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Big round of applause. Again, there is no right or wrong answers for the behaviors because we're looking at us and others is looking at us as well. For this exercise, I would like to emphasize on how you would approach others in terms of working as a team, as you as a leader looking out for others. So I would like to hand this on later to Natchawi, and she will talk more about why do we need to know about others. Okay.
Thank you, Sam. Can we give Sam a big round of applause? Thank you. So yes, perception. We can look at ourselves every day in the mirror and we see what is as what we see. But when others see us, may see something that we don't know that, oh, I'm that? Is there anyone in here that someone approached you and said you're something in this paper that really surprised you? Anyone? Okay. Can you share a little bit of that?
Hi, I'm Chloe again. So, like a lot of people come and approach me and ask me whether I'm persuasive or not. It kind of make me wonder, like, what of me makes you think that I'm persuasive when I personally don't really see it that way. So yeah, it's just kind of confusing at some point. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing it. Yes, sometimes it could be like, me? Really? Persuasive? Like, what's your measurement of persuasive? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Right? So what may be our perception in terms of persuasive? Maybe something else. So this is important for leadership. For one who will be a leader, you may not see what others see. And how you perceive things or other perceive things may not be the same. But how we are going to work with those among differences. So that's the next one that we're going to talk about. Okay, adaptability. Like I mentioned earlier, you need to be adaptive to the situation. So adaptability consists of two components, willingness and ability to engage in a wide range of behavior, not limited to a personal style, to effectively meet the requirements of a situation or relationship. I guarantee you that when we did the exercise earlier, you went to the person that you feel comfortable with first. Am I right? Absolutely. Same table even, right? Because I sat with this person in the last 2 hours or 3 hours, right? So that relationship make you feel comfortable to approach in that situation. So situational leadership, what is it? Why it's important for a team leadership? Situational leadership is ability to adapt your leadership style according to the requirement of situation. Let me connect you to the example that we did earlier in terms of counting the number 1 to 20. Can you apply the same leadership skill with that activity and the activity that you did just now in terms of finding someone that belong to that category or adjective or behavior style? Can you? Am I clear in terms of my question? I'm confused myself too. In terms of the two different situations, right? The first activity, you have one goal. All of you, 33 of you, have one goal. Count from 1 to 20. And you mentioned that the skill that you need is to lead someone to follow, to set the tone for someone to follow. And the activity that we just finished is about what? What are the skills that you use? That I just mentioned in the previous slide. What's that? Adaptability, and one other thing too. Observation included, one other thing. That's so important. First thing that you did when I gave the assignment, and you go to who? Relationship, right? Is the first task and the second task Are the same skill apply? No. Exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. So in a different situation, we require different skill. And it's you that will pick, if this situation, what skill I'm going to use to be able to get the result as I expected. So that's exactly what situational leadership is. In situational leadership, the behavior of the leader consider the readiness, which is the maturity of the person being influenced. It's not about you anymore. When you talk about situational leadership, it's about others. It's about those who you're working with. When I read the profile of the participant, one of the things that I really admire of all of you is that you value so much of working with others. I'm not sure which one, but the quote that I read is that because of the team, it's make things more effective. Because of the team, it's make the work much more fun and successful. Who wrote this one? I think it's one of the participants. Never mind, you come to me later, and I will find that person later. Because that's very important as a team. You can't be one person and save the world or try to build this nation, just one person, right? You need more than that. And how can you influence others to do that with you? So we talk about the follower readiness. So the two things that we were looking at, maturity, right? From immature to mature. How are you going to help them from being immature to mature as a leader? That's a magic word, competency. What does it mean by competency? It means capacity and capability. You have that willingness to change. Do you have that ability to make the change? That's competency. So capacity, again, as I mentioned, is willingness, is the level of motivation and commitment and desire to perform task, activity, or behavior that required. Either high or low or fluctuating. Either I will or I won't. So this is the very main key, the willingness and the level of motivation. And maybe greatly affected by the situational factors. In some situation, you may feel like, oh, I won't. Do I know how? I do, but I just don't want to do it today. I don't feel like it. So that's willingness, and your inner voice is telling you, maybe not today. And then the next one is capability or ability. Is a level of skill to perform a task, activity, or behavior. Either high, low, or lacking in a particular skill or task. I'm sure all of you, for what I have read in the profile, you do have many, many necessary skills. But what you need more is opportunity to practice those skills, right? We may have knowledge about how to be a good leader. We may know all this concept about how to be a good leader, but do you have opportunity to practice it? And leadership make perfect when you practice it every day. It doesn't have to be a big, giant event that you lead people, but every day in your life, what did you do to lead yourself to do certain things? So the magic word for this one is I can or I can't. It's about that attitude and ability. Less dependent on situational factor. Okay? So there are 4 kinds of people that will be surrounding you and how you're going to work with these 4 kinds. First one, willing and able. What does it mean by this group? Willing and able. Anyone can help me with that? Anyone that you can think of? any situation in your life that you're so willing and able? Come on, it's so obvious you're all here because you're willing to be here, right? You're all here because you're able to be here, right? So it depends on the situation. The next one, willing but unable. What happened to this one? I haven't heard from this table. Maybe they can help me. Willing and unable. What does it mean?
Willing but unable. The first thing is we should have a willingness for learning something, such as if you want to lead some teams or some group in such a small organizations. The first, when we have a willingness to learn with other peoples or from other peoples, sooner or later we will get ability to lead. So have a willingness is important to get ability. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your name is Frankie? Okay, thank you. So he was right. You know, you have this willingness as a foundation. You're willing to do things. But what you're lacking up here is that ability, that certain specific skill that you don't have. For example, I want to build a house. But, well, I didn't go to the school to be an architect or engineer to build a house. But I have a willingness to because I want to build a house that I really want to live in. So then I go to a mini class, you know, to learn to read a structure of the house or even how to communicate to the engineer or architect that they can design something that I really want. So that could be on this case, okay? The third one, unwilling but able. So willingness is very low, motivation low, commitment is very low. But can that person do it? Yes. Can anyone have any example or share me the example of this type of person or the situation? Yes.
Hi. Basically, when there's a saying, when there's a will, there's always a way. So basically, the willingness would actually come after you doing it. Well, this is how I experienced it before. It wasn't something that's easy to execute, but as you go along the way, you could actually grasp each and every knowledge of being able, and over a period of time, you could actually be willing to do that. So basically, it comes hand in hand. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. So time. Time is a key word for this group of people, right? You do have the ability. You can do it. But it's just that willingness is not there yet. But with what JP said earlier, how are you going to move them, stretch them out from the comfort zone to have them willing to take the risk, right? The last one, this group, unwilling and unable. What happens if we have to work with these people? I saw a head shaking. What does that mean? Can you help me with that? What does that mean with your reaction? Unwilling, unable.
Because you don't want to be surrounded with negativity. You want to surround yourself with people who has positive attitudes, and they'll raise you up as well.
Thank you. Attitude, right? But you know what? Sometimes you can't choose who you will be working with if you're in the position as a leader. Oh, you're unwilling, you're unable? No, you go in that corner. You're willing and able, oh, come to me. It's easy to work with. You have everything I need. But can we choose that in the real situation, real life? No. So we have to really use this skill to do a quick assessment that who you're working with. What category? I don't want to put people in a category, but this category are for you to come with your own technique, how to help these people moving from unwilling and unable to willing and able. So that's the goal of this concept. And Actually, I have so much more prepared, Sam. I mean, Sam looking at me like we talk so much about this concept and we're so excited to share it to you. But because of the time, let me share you the skill that you may need. Okay, first skill, directive. So directive will be high on the task, focus on the task, direct that person to complete the task to the result that you hope for. So you direct, you give a lot of information, you give a lot of micromanaging per se, if you using it as a leadership term. Do you think this technique will be perfect for which group, or will be appropriate for which group from the previous one? Directive. The one that we talk about, willing, able, unwilling, unable, unwilling, and able. Which one? Willing and able? Anyone else? Unwilling and able, why?
Because the person has the ability to do, but is unwilling. So you have to direct that person. You have to give right directions to that person in order for the person to do the job.
Thank you. Absolutely. You need to tell that person how to do or complete the task because of the ability, right? So you need to direct and help them accomplish what we hope to. So that was a skill number one in terms of directing. 2 more minutes, okay, Gerard? Okay, we can skip this one. In terms of directing, it's very important because sometimes direct can be insulting. People don't like to be told what to do, right? That's why you have to choose appropriate group of people that need that direction giving. If you work with someone who so independent in doing the work, and they do such a great job when you give that level of independence, will you use directive style to manage them? If you do, what will happen? Conflict of interest or the cause of conflict. Because one key, that person like to work independently. And you just being right next, do this, go left, go right. And that person will create that tension. And the relationship, remember, it's so important. You will lose it, right? And then you cannot work with that person anymore in a very positive way. Okay. I will pass to the next skill. Coaching. Okay? So directive, coaching. Coaching is for those who have ability to focus on tasks, and we as a leader or someone who oversees someone have the relationship. So this will provide emotional support to the person, and then will help that person to make the decision. So encourage that person and support it. So the methodology that we're using here is to explain, clarify, and persuade the person to do it. So coaching is all about goal-directed and result-oriented. It's about the process. It's about the facilitation of that person for the next level of sustainable change, right? You help them, but who's doing it for this coaching? Who's the one who's doing it? The follower, right? So the leader basically just help push. Just maybe that the guy that pushed the other guy in the pool. Maybe that will be the one who helped put into that situation. Believe it or not, he made to the end, right? So this is about coaching and then looking for the personal growth as well. Sorry, I have to flip through this. The next one, supporting. What do we mean by supporting? We focus on the relationship. We focus on the shared decision making. No longer just one way. What do you think? Yeah, I think A, but I think B. How can we work together? So you support the decision and the goal that you want to work toward to. Encouraging, collaborating, and getting the commitment. This one is very important in terms of supporting. This one called 3S. It's a very specific skill. When you're in the position as a leader, may not come with the title, but when you work with the team, it's important to give the appreciation to your team member. Because once when they get appreciation or acknowledge in what they do, they can create even more positive result for your team. Okay, and after supporting the last one, delegating. Delegating is for the last group, willing and able. They have the ability, they have the motivation, they have the commitment. So they have to use that independence that they like to do so much to accomplish the task. So you allow them to do those things, and you give them the power to do it. So there's different of delegation as well. One of them is, okay, I give you task A, you do it, and come back and report after you're done. Or I give you task A. If you have a problem, come talk to me. If you want to use the delegating number 3, so once when you're done with all those things that I give you, come and tell me, and then we talk about this. And the highest level of delegation is, if you don't come to me, I think we're good, right? So that's a high level of delegation. And I hope that, this is really something that you can keep it with you and using it and practicing it. Remember, when you see people working as a team, which level are they? Are they willing? So you do a quick assessment, willing and ability, and then you can approach them appropriately. So I hope this is good, and you can really apply it in your real life, within college or after college and in your future career. So I wish you good luck. Hopefully we'll be meeting again sometime soon as the organization, those who are interested in humanitarian work or the human development work. So thank you.